All right, today we're gonna try to tackle some oil leak situations. Specifically, I think the O-ring behind this distributor and the gasket under this valve cover. Because look, if I smear my finger under here, under the distributor, look how much oil I get. That's not even like, you know, if I smear this finger here, it comes back dirty, but this is like a drippy dripperson. So it's either one or both of those things, and we're gonna replace it all today. But let's try not to get confused about where any of this stuff goes. So I'm gonna get out my paint pen and start marking stuff. So let's say that these wires are 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's the official way they do it. So we can go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Damn it. Should have got the fine tip. All right, I'm using Roman numerals because I really don't know why. I mean, welcome to America. Wow, that thing's filthy too. Should probably clean that out. Now, in order to replace the distributor O-ring, we have to remove the distributor, and I'm not sure exactly what I need to mark here, so I'm gonna mark a bunch of kind of alignment marks just to make sure I have some frame of reference later. Looks like I spilled a gallon of milk. All right, so if you're gonna use one of these, don't push too hard on it. All right, I got everything unscrewed to this point, and I think that means the distributor's ready to come out. There's a lot of oil on it. So I guess it's just that little bolt, and then the thing slides out. I'm gonna make a few more witness marks. Honestly, right now I'm terrified of this, you know, because like once I pull that thing out, this engine ain't gonna run until I get it back in correctly. So we'll see how that goes. All right, we're using the, all right, you know what? I don't want to break any of this crap right here. Let me get a longer extension. All right, this is the process of delicately removing a bolt that may have never been removed from this car before. That is a nice little bolt, isn't it? Japanese bolts, Toyota bolts, they're just beautiful bolts. I don't see any other bolts. I've felt around. So I think it's just held in place by friction right now. So we're gonna try and pop it out. Hopefully not break anything. Ooh, I don't like that. Oh, I heard it kind of pop. There we go. Well, let's see what the hell we got. So, this is your distributor. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Before I move that anymore, I gotta make some more witness marks. I think if that little gear wheel rotates while we're doing this, then we're in big trouble. So hopefully it did not rotate. Now let's see what we're doing with this O-ring here. How do we get that out without damaging anything? All right, there's your problem, lady. I just started prying away at this O-ring. Listen to the sound this O-ring makes. Now hold on. Here's your new O-ring, 72438. Listen to the sound that makes. Yeah, different, right? Not exactly the same. Oh, where'd you go? It's supposed to be spongy, squishy, rubbery. It's not supposed to break like a piece of dry spaghetti. It's a good thing we put those witness marks on there, huh? See? All right, I've cleaned everything as well as I can. I'm gonna take a little bit of this silicone looby dooby and smear it around here just so that this thing will go in, hopefully without any quarrels or arguments. And after I clean myself up for the 57th time, let's go try to pop this in. First, let's line up these cogs with our alignment marks. You want to clean that hole too? All right, hold on. Might as well do it right? Just got to make sure not to wipe away any of my witness marks, because I don't think I have a timing gun anywhere. And you don't really, I don't think that you have to worry so much about this face, because that's not the sealing surface. All right, so we got our little cogs lined up, and let's see if we can get this thing to go back in. Wow. I don't want to tap it or anything, but it just doesn't seem to want to push in. Let me do it two-handed. All right. What's the holdup? Oh man. Can we pull it back out? Let's see what we're up against here. All right, we got our things aligned. So let's get it into the cam and get it pressed in there. Wow, this thing, it's a struggle. Struggle is real. It's like, don't want to go in and it don't want to come back out. Here, let's pop it back out one more time and see what we're up against here. If we got any kind of deformation or anything. I don't think we do. All right. Maybe we'll smear some lube inside the hole. Thing with this kind of stuff is if you've never done it before, you might run into like little tricky things that you're not anticipating or whatnot. So I don't really know what's going on here, but this thing is real stubborn. All right, here we go. Can we push it in? Oh, there it is. There it is. All right, let's make sure that our cogs are lined up right. I don't know if they are, but how could they not be, I guess? Anyway, get our witness marks lined up. We might be off by a cog. Yeah, I know, to you Toyota mechanics, this is probably a laughing matter right now. You're probably laughing at me, but I'm just trying to take my time, man. All right, I'm gonna snug up this bolt. Not too tight. I don't think it needs to be too tight. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put all the old stuff back on, because the only thing I've done is pop the distributor out, replace the O-ring, and pop it back in. So if we put all the old stuff back on and it doesn't work, then we know we screwed something up. All right, if we got it right, this should start right up. For some reason I have a check engine light now, but I get those every once in a while, so I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that. And in fact, you know why I got that? Because I forgot to plug in that little plug on the bottom of the distributor. That's probably why. All right, I guess what we'll do first is replace this coil. Looks like it's got some rust on the screws, so let's see if they'll come out or not. That one's coming out. Oh, you mother effer. That one's coming out. That one's coming out, and that one's obscured by the air box. Man, I've never had really good luck taking these air boxes out, but this one needs cleaning anyway, so we'll take it out. All right, it looks like it's going all right. Sometimes these nuts or bolts can get stuck into the car, but these ones are coming out pretty easily, so no big deal. I may have spoken too soon. I think that one is a little bit jammed up. This one right here, and it looks like that might not be the original bolt. So I'm gonna use this, kind of go back and forth, work it out a little bit at a time. All right, there we go, there it comes. Because what happens with these, I'll show you in a second, is they thread into the body of the car, and they're supposed to have these little rubber bushings on them, which have long since worn off. But how does that come out of there? See, they thread into these holes, and what happens is, see, the bolt goes through the hole, and this part of the bolt is nice and clean, but the part that protrudes through the hole gets rusty, and as that's coming through that hole, that's when you're likely to snap it off. So when you start feeling resistance, spray it and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, a little bit at a time, and just be gentle. This thing looks like some rodent's toilet bowl, so I don't know, we'll have to clean it a little bit better than that. Do we have a broom out here? I was using it earlier. Where's my broom? Did someone steal my broom? Who would do that? Oh, there it is. Anyway, is that clean enough? Yeah, it's clean enough. So back to our screw on our coil. All right, looks like it's coming out. You guys don't mind if I do this a little bit off camera so I don't drop these screws, right? These are tiny screws. You want to see if the new coil comes with new screws? I feel like it probably doesn't. It should. Should, but probably doesn't. You guys see any screws in there? No, so we're gonna have to use those ratty old screws, so let's not lose any of them. This screw is getting hung up on the back of the bracket, so I'm working it back and forth, nice and gentle. See how they're all corroded just on the end? That's where they come through the back of the bracket there. But now I think we could pop that out. I don't know if we really need to replace this or not, but it's cheap insurance, I guess. While we're in here, let's see what we can do about this fuel filter. And it looks like I already had to kind of jerry-rig the fuel filter bracket with a hosey hoserson. So I've spritzed this with some lube, and we'll see if we can get that top and bolt out and go from there. This fuel filter is kind of a pain to get to. I don't know why they put it there, but I don't know. We got plenty of clearance, right? If I didn't plan to keep this car forever, I probably wouldn't bother changing this. I'm not really convinced that fuel filters make that much of a difference, but it's my forever car, so. I'm all out of brake cleaner. I'd like to clean the top of that, so this might have one spritz left in it. May this can of carbon choke and parts cleaner rest in peace. All right, now we can take this bolt out. This is what they call a banjo fitting. And it's got a couple of crush washers on it. I don't know if we got new crush washers, so let's try to make sure we don't lose those ones. He says as he loses the old one. What a dummy I am sometimes. All right, now the hard part is getting that stupid filter out of there. This is gonna be complicated. All right, here's the new filter, and here's how this goes in. On the bottom, the line that comes from the tank has a 14mm fitting on it, and that goes into there. I don't want to really disturb that line, so what I'm going to do is try to hold on to the fitting and then just rotate the filter. And I think that's a 17mm there, and I'm not sure if I have one on hand, but we'll have to maybe improvise. All right, I think I solved the equation. I'm gonna put this on the fitting on the bottom and this on the nut right there on the top, and I've already loosened my hosey hoserson, so let's hope for the best. I also have a drain pan under the car to catch any gas and a fire extinguisher. All right, it's definitely tight quarters, but I got the 19 here, the 14 on the bottom, and it looks like we were able to get that thing loosened up. Now, if the car is newer and it's not all rusty and crusty, you can actually go at it from the bottom and loosen up that fitting, but I think that fitting is kind of stubborn for us, so we're gonna just try to take the filter out rather than spinning the fitting, if that makes any sense. Now the filter's completely loose, so we can kind of pop it down and out. Whoa. Let's let that drain in the old drain pan. Where's the old drain pan? Down there somewhere. And see, here's the fitting, and that thing is not gonna turn on the line. You know, I'd have to replace that whole fuel line or do something. So I leave the fitting stationary and I spin the filter, and it seems to work all right. And this is one reason I don't like changing fuel filters, because they're a pain in the butt. I'm having a real hard time getting the filter lined up with the fitting on the bottom, so I don't want to cross those threads, so I've decided to take the bracket off, which is risky because you know, if that bolt had broken, then we wouldn't really have a bracket at all. This is what's left of our old bracket. You know, I guess I could go swipe the bracket off that other Camry. Maybe I will. This is the kind of part you can't exactly get at AutoZone, but I guess we got one. I'm impressed. Thank you, green Camry. Looks like these brackets are identical. The wire clip that was in the old one is bigger than the wire clip that was in the new one. I'm gonna take the two bolts and give them a little smear of grease. I think there might be a bolt broken off into the, you know, in the car, so we might have to hang on to this bracket with just the one bolt, but we'll see as we install it. All right, we're running into a problem, not a huge problem. This bolt won't thread in because there's a broken off bolt inside there, so we're gonna have to not use that bolt. Plus, I noticed that right down here, the boot on my steering rack doesn't have a little clip on it, so we're gonna have to do something about that while we're in here. All right, luckily for us, we did get new crush washers with the fuel filter, but here's our first little problem. And it's not a big problem, it's just kind of an inconvenience. Here, you put one crush washer on the bottom, one crush washer on the bolt, make sure everything's clean. The way that this line is supposed to be situated, or the way the filter is supposed to be situated, is that the steel part of this line is supposed to go through that little tab right there. But unfortunately, since the fitting on the bottom line is frozen in place, we can't really rotate the filter to where we want it. We just got to get it tight and leave it there. So this is going to be hanging out kind of the wrong way, but that's not the end of the world. It just means it doesn't have quite as much support And if worst came to worst, I don't think this fuel line would be all that hard to replace. And if it seems like this is way too much for replacing a fuel filter, it's just because it's like an old rusty car, and sometimes you run into these problems. Now, I don't know the torque spec for this fuel line, but basically you want to tighten it until you crush the crush washers. That should be good, and you check later for leaks, and if it's leaking, then you tighten a little more. I've never had much luck with spring clips, so I used a hose clamp on that bellows thing, and that side quest is definitely the hardest part of this adventure so far. Plus, all this is like such meticulous work that I can't really wear my gloves, so my hands are filthy. Oh well. What's next? I got the new coil screwed in because I didn't want to take a chance at losing any of those little screws. Now, this rotor isn't that bad, the old one, but we're gonna replace it anyway because it's probably got like 30K on it. And it's got 2 little screws in here, which I don't want to lose. So maybe we'll just be careful about it. I can't believe I'm doing this on camera. Probably gonna be a bad idea. All right. It's not like an old Chevy where it just snaps in place. All right, if you look in the middle right there, there's definitely some wear. So good idea to replace this thing, I guess. Here, look at the old tab versus the new tab. Not horrible, but we got it, we'll put it on. And this is kind of idiot proof because you see there's like a little nub and there's a little hole for the nub. So it really only fits in one way. Now we have our lovely new distributor cap, which is a pretty tight fit. So we'll kind of press that on, and I think it comes with a couple new lovely screws. So maybe we'll just reuse the old ones and save the new ones. Meet the new screws, same as the old screws. And I like these screws because they're 8mm hex screws, which means that as long as your socket doesn't pull off your nut driver handle, near you, this is way better than just trying to get in there with a Phillips. And all right, that seems to be pulling on real nice. There's a little O-ring or gasket in there. I don't know if we were supposed to replace that, but a new one didn't come with the kit, so we didn't replace it. Now, because I've done this before, I knew enough to not disconnect all the wires, so that way I hopefully won't get them crisscrossed, because crisscross will make you jump, make you jump timing anyway. So we should be able to swap these out no problem. Now, I was planning to do the valve cover gasket tonight, but as you can see, it's dark, and I'm not a huge fan of working on cars in the dark. So what I'm gonna do is save the valve cover gasket for another time. I don't know, that might be a video all on its own. Besides, every time I do a valve cover gasket, it ends up leaking anyways, so you know, I'll have no shortage of valve cover gasket videos for you guys in the future, I'm sure. I wouldn't wash my hands so I wouldn't get grimy fingerprints all over my new wires today anyway. Some people say that you should put a little schmoo in there, little silicone or whatever. I don't have any, so we're just gonna go through these one at a time. And I guess the idea is to go from long to short. Is that shorter than that? That's shorter than that, and that is longer than that by a little bit. Yeah, it's not rocket science. These should go in with like a resounding thud. Wow. You'll kind of know it when when they seat. Oh, and I think they're all supposed to be pointing this way. Yeah, they are. And then this one goes in thusly. All right, now we just got to clip them onto the thing. So let's see. Let's see what we got here. That's number 4. So that should go there, I guess. That's number 3. So that should go down bottom. And I guess these just clip in. Here's number 2. So that should go right here. And here's number 1, which should go right there, I guess. Wow. And then this one goes from here. I said goes from here, clips on, and then comes over here and clips on there all nice and good. But now all we got to do is the wire loomage. All right, apparently I can't measure because this is number 2, this is number 3. They're numbered from the factory. Let me swap those around. Maybe someday we'll plastic weld that, but for now it should hold fine. And I guess all we got to do now is wrap the rest of this crap up and see if she starts. Actually, I guess while we're here, we might as well do a positive crankcase ventilation valve. This one's probably got 30,000 on it. Wow. That clamp don't want to cooperate. Come on off, you. Roar! Give it the finger. Let's see, do we have a tool? We got a lot of tools. How about a scroogey? There you go. There you go, buddy. Thanks for your service. I can never tell how to test these. Wow, look at all these boxes of parts and junk that we got here. Wrenches. I didn't even use that wrench. This stuff. All right. I think that I should probably... Where'd I put the other one now? I should probably put that hose on there first. What do you think? I'll tell you what I think. These aren't the same parts. That must be for the other Camry. So I guess we will run what we brung. Anyway, that's sort of how to install a PCV. There you go. It's tightly and firmly installed. All right, I guess we got everything buttoned up. So let's go see what happens when we turn the key. Sounds pretty good. I don't see any leaks coming out of the fuel filter. All right, for some reason I have a check engine light, but we're gonna worry about that later. We'll also do the valve cover gasket and maybe the spark plugs in another video. But the main focus here was this thing because it was leaking a ton of oil. And as you can see, this is the O-ring. This is not how an O-ring's supposed to be. So I think that the tune-up is like kind of a bonus, but this is the thing we really needed to address. But right now my oil level's pretty good, so I'll keep my eye on that. And until next time, thanks so much for watching.